Welcome back to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the 2023 Music City Open presented by Lone Star Disc. This is a Disc Golf Pro Tour event in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nathan Queen.
Yeah, and I've been enjoying my time up here in Nashville. Had some decent weather for a little bit, but the tournament rolled around, and now we've got some rain. This just kind of wasn't in the forecast, but it showed up on us today.
No. Kind of making the conditions a little more challenging for everybody, but a lot of interest still in the tournament, and thanks to the local folks for working their butts off to make the course playable and still coming out and spectating.
Definitely so. You see our chase guard doing pretty well. Nick gonna look to turn it around on the back nine, but still very close up here on the top of the leaderboard.
Definitely.
Moving into hole 10, 354-foot par 3. Got a semblance of a gap to hit off of the tee, and then just under halfway there, the actual gap to hit. There is OB down the right side. I personally think this plays left for a righty backhand shot. I was curious to see what Austin was going to do. There's the first tree you see directly on the tee pad off to the right. Kind of gets in the way of throwing a lefty backhand down that gap without wanting to pull it off to the left side. So he tries to counteract that going over top, but didn't quite move back enough.
Yeah, it's nice for you to school up after 2 rounds, huh? Hamas going to throw the turnover shot through the gap.
I don't throw that far.
We saw him throw past the basket in round 1, and a good correction here into circle 1 for a birdie putt.
Yeah, that's the shape that I believe this hole really lines up for. If you've got mid-range power to get that there, or a fairway driver that's just going to sit softly.
Yeah, and just whatever you're more comfortable with, driving flat to turnover or a driven Anheuser.
And this is going to get down quick enough to avoid that OB and actually curls back to inside the circle.
Yeah, pretty good miss to not go through the gap and still get to circle 1. Hanson also going to kind of pull that, and
that was a good touch.
Love the touch. Right next to this hole is a playground being built. You can kind of see some mud tracking through there. So if any Davidson County sediment control inspectors are looking for an easy target, here it is. Turner's Heiser had gotten past the basket. A good effort from circle 2 for his bid.
Yeah, surprised to see he was clean. I thought he was over there on the left side, but he got to that gap you see the spectator standing in now. Anthony Barela just off to the right side, so Adam Hamas, chance for a lone birdie on the card.
That looks more like the putt I expect out of Adam.
Yeah, I agree. Very confident, right in the center, just above the cage.
And umbrella starting to pop out. Rain was kind of off and on throughout the day. Never too hard, but enough that over time it keeps your entire bag wet.
Yeah, everything wet. If you touch something, you get your hand dry and like touch something just brushing by, then all of a sudden you can't get a grip on your disc again because it got wet.
Yeah, you have to be disciplined about which hand you use to mark your stuff. Hole 11, shortest hole on the course. I gotta imagine it's the easiest hole on the course as well. No OB to speak of, open field, and then the danger is at circle 1's edge. Probably gonna see some forehands, see some backhands. It's really whatever you're most comfortable to move a little bit left to right.
Surprisingly, one hole does play easier. This is the second easiest hole on the course.
Okay. Turner going to go to a mid-range, and a good correction by Hamas. He had kind of hung it out too far left yesterday. Good shape, good height.
Yes. Fantastic shot, going with a straight mid-range. Wind finally dropped down enough to be able to throw a shot like that, and he absolutely laces it, hits the intended gap, gets good rock play.
Don't love this. This is pulled over a little bit, and the right side is a lot harder to work with unless you just go through everything.
So there you go.
Hanson to the forehand. See the good late arm action, not doing a whole lot with his legs at this distance, and up on the second level temporarily.
Yeah, hyzered into that gap nicely, but did get a roll off to the left. We'll see what type of gap he has for a putt. Confusion.
Yeah, somebody else's hand putted that, I think.
Nick doesn't look too bad over there, and he is going to card the first birdie of his round, getting on the board.
Yeah, back nine is where he made hay yesterday, so let's keep this going, Nick, huh?
Yeah, Anthony Barela keeping it going as well. He is now 5 down, clean through the round, no bogeys.
And we will finally get to Austin Turner's drive.
Speaking of no bogeys, there were no bogeys on this hole yesterday. Today, the streak has been broken. There were 3.
Okay, I'm glad it's not 1. If it's 1, we got to call out.
Yeah, I agree. I would have called 1. I definitely would have called out 1. I'll leave it alone with 3, though. Brings us to hole 12. 618-foot par 3. A fairly tight gap to hit off of the tee pad, and then there's a tree placed just perfectly out of that gap that you've got to stay right of. Once you get past that tree, the farther left you get, the more open your upshot's going to be. Kind of hard to get distance off of this tee pad, but as long as you get a little bit past this first tree, then the basket is reachable.
Shapes up nicely for that forehand. And I like the nose-up action that Turner does to work back to the left. Barela very comfortable at throwing power shots through gaps like this, so he may go for a little extra. But does find that center tree.
Yeah, he went with a very stable disc there. He was almost, his lineup was almost on an anhyzer, ended up throwing it a bit flat.
Great shot by Nick, committing to the hyzer, pushing it straight and just letting it run to the left. He will have a forehand into the green for probably 300, 320, no more than that.
Adam Hammis also making it through the gap. Gets a good skip. That skip at the end really kept him from having to throw some funny angles out. And Anthony got a pretty mean roll there if he's down there in the woods on the right.
He does go driver to push it out to the left. This is a good angle, but still pretty far back. This basket is tucked so close behind the wood line that you really have to flirt with it in order to park the basket.
Yeah, this is another shot that you really need to have nose up to have it stall out at the end.
There is OB Pond, short right of the basket. Nick's not going to find that. Instead, he's going to find a circle 2 look, circle 1.
And staring directly down at that OB pond, going to be quite a scary putt.
Turner, maybe not quite the width. Okay, good enough. 2 circle 1's edge. Hamas has gone far enough that he can just throw kind of a spike with a very overstable Raptor.
Yeah, and he lined it up perfectly. Almost able to toss it in. Nick Hanson, just a little bit low left side, but does stick into that mud right there. Should have a tap-in par.
Turner kind of approaching what could have been territory, and Barela, wow, a lot of action off the cage there.
For the par save. Kind of the first shaky putt we've seen from him today, and left him a bit of a comebacker.
Good right side catch for his bogey. Probably a harder putt than the first one.
Definitely so. But goes back to the form we've seen for the rest of the round, able to connect.
I don't know if he's walking slow because he's annoyed or because he's trying not to slip.
I'm going to say both on that one.
And good birdie from Hamas. This was one of the slippier, muddier parts on the entire course.
I just want to give a big shout out to DGA, Another Round Disc Golf, Grip Equipment, Matt Disc, Dine. And if you want to support me, go to discgolf.com and pick her up an AT Bonsai.
Kyle Klein stepping up for the birdie on 18.
Your Open champion, Gannon Burr.
Another record-setting weekend on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Back-to-back weeks. Winner coming from the chase card. Pretty special stuff. Gannon Burr, Kyle Klein, two young superstars on tour, showing you how to get it done.
As we saw there, chase cards have been 2 consecutive winners off of the Gatekeeper card. We'll see if we can get another one tomorrow. Hole 13, you got there's a couple options here. You can go over the top, you can try to play short of the gap, you can try to throw through the gap, and then it's a downhill approach into the green, which has cedars guarding both the left and right. And it's kind of hard to stop without going long into the wood line beyond.
And as you can see, from the birdie, par, and bogey that we had on the last hole, now we've got 3 players on the card in a tie for third. You can see the precipitation on the camera now also. This rain just kind of steadily sticks around, not too heavy. This is cool. I haven't seen a lefty go over top yet.
Yeah, it takes some serious power to do that, and Turner has that power.
Indeed he does. Makes it over top. Gonna be in a great spot.
This looks like a more low-key play from Nick. I think this is a Toro just trying to lay up short of the gap and then attack a little harder on the second. The idea if you're doing this is to be on kind of the right half so that you can throw straight through the gap. You think Barela's going to lay up?
No. No, I don't think he is.
Maybe with an aggressive shot. Never quite gets too flat, but it's still flying. And that'll leave him probably in the neighborhood of 200.
Oh, no. I think he might have got inside of that. He pushed close to that FPO pin right there.
Nick with a good gap shot here. Looks like it's going to fade. Perhaps a little early. We'll see what the result is there.
Yeah, I wonder if he's playing for par or if that was just a bit underthrown on that first shot, because he was pretty far back from the gap still.
Yeah. Hamas had a pretty routine zone in round 1, but now is going to go long. He'll be in circle 2 for his birdie.
And that showed what you were talking about with this green being very quick. He even hit that cedar on the way by and still went too long into this tree line.
Oh, yes, I love the touch. That could have gone long as well. Instead, Turner's going to be left with 20, 25 feet.
Yeah, just a little standstill putter. And catches that tree. Gonna be maybe 40 feet or so right there. A little disappointing after that drive.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yes, sir. What a
Great putt
putt.
from Hanson. Obstructed in a straddle, but a great catch.
Yeah, now 3 down in the last 4 holes, putting him to 5 down for the round.
Here's Barela. I kind of think that being at an in-between distance is a disadvantage on the approach on this hole. You almost want to be throwing a full swing. But if you can putt like that.
Yeah, no disadvantage there. Cards the birdie. Nice bounce back after the strange misputt that we had on the last hole.
And then the errant approach. Nick, this is for his birdie. Good height.
Ooh, and hopefully that stopped before the tree line. Looks like it did. Coming back for the par now. Able to connect.
Austin taking his time. It is important to take your time in the rain, Nathan.
Definitely so. There's multiple times that you'll need to just do a little bit of reset. And he took his time, it looked like, all the way up until his arm swing. It seems like he usually has a little more, or slows down the pace on that arm a little bit. You know, if you feel a drop of water on your thumb or something like that, sometimes your brain is like, okay, go, before it gets worse. But it's already bad if you're thinking about it.
Yep.
So gotta reset. Moves us into hole 14. 375-foot par 3. You've got the gap that the drone is flying down, but most likely you're going to see some forehand flex shots out to the left. You can go low below some late branches, or you can kind of flex around them with a little more height and try to fade back.
Hanson struggled with this a little bit in round 1. Uses kind of the left half of the tee pad. I'm surprised to see that, but enough stability to work into circle 2.
And if you can't tell, it is a muddy mess down by this basket.
Oh yeah, don't expect to be able to push off your back foot too much. Barela going to use stability, and if you're going to miss, you definitely want to miss left here, as the cedars early in circle 2 are they're going to feast on any disc coming towards them.
And Austin trying to make sure he gets over to the left, pulls it a bit early, but smashed it hard enough to go through those branches and gets a little bit of a rollout. He might have a circle 2 look.
I like that. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like it too. This looks like the best one of the group.
And decent ground play, not all the way back, but is a circle 2 unobstructed look for birdie.
Just outside of circle 2 here, about 70 feet. Had the right line on it, just not quite the distance.
Yeah, not sure if he was even able to see it. You kind of just have to get a vision in your head of where you think the bucket is and try to guide it in.
And go back and watch that. Okay, let's watch that again. He used so much less leg there than we're used to seeing from him. That was all arm, just about. And it's because of that mud. He knew he was going to slide, and he adjusted his putt for that.
That's what you have to do in adverse conditions. And Hanson, good jumper.
Back on the birdie.
Circle 2 about a margin. Yeah.
You see, Barela is going to try to step through this. And well done. As Adam wanted to kind of stay put and use his arm, Barela just going to kind of roll through the front foot.
Yeah, staying on that front foot, making sure that back foot's not there to have any slide.
And 3 birdies on the card. That's pretty nasty for hole 14. Hole 15, 777 feet, par 4. There's OB lining the entire right side and then late beyond the basket. There's a tree line to the left. However, to the left of that tree line is safe. You can either throw a hyzer around the right side or the gap shot to push a little further. Hamas likes that gap. He is going to flip up and fly straight. This is well done. He's found the pocket on the left side, so he'll have about 320 feet into the green.
And after making it through that front 9, you play a stretch of easy holes, and then you get to this hole 15, the only hole on the back 9 that's actually averaging over par today.
And that is a big reason why. If you're trying to attack for birdie, the out of bounds on the right comes in pretty quick.
A big hyzer play from Nick. You try to come back in front of those trees that he just did right there, puts you in a pretty good spot. Not quite the distance that you'll see that Adam got, but a safer play if you like throwing hyzers.
Yeah, and
Sky.
I think where Nick got to is somewhere around 380 to the bucket.
Very difficult lefty hole.
Turner doesn't want any part of the normal fairway, and Austin, you're going to be the reason there's OB on both sides of this hole next year. Stop it.
Yeah, I can't do that anyway, so it doesn't show me a whole lot.
Anthony going to try to play a drifting left to right shot. However,
What a beautiful kick.
He could have been buried in there. Instead, he'll be throwing 4 with a pretty routine zone type upshot. Chance to save his bogey and keep his round moving. Hanson, look at the flip up on this.
Oh my goodness. What a shot. Slides up just short of the long OB. Going to be inside the circle looking at a birdie.
Hamas, that's pushing 2 straight, I think. Nope. Uses a good bumper mode on that right side. Stays in his lane.
So we're over here where nobody's been before.
Not nobody. Austin did this round 1 as well. First time we've seen it, and pretty successful.
Yeah, looks like he's hyzered into circle 1, or right around the edge of it.
And a good shot from Anthony. Good damage control.
Yeah, saving bogey is about the best you can do after going OB off of this tee shot, so he'll be happy with that. Adam Hamas did want to connect for that birdie, though.
Another of those floaty putts. This is Hanson for his birdie. And I think the crosswind kind of got under that. You see him raising his hand.
Yeah, and a bit of a mean roll there. Kind of roll into the edge of the circle. And does leave that comebacker short. Goes from birdie to bogey here. And when you're playing one of the harder holes on the course, that's not the way that you want to take a bogey.
No, definitely.
Get out of here.
A very creative way by Austin. And Hammis with a good par pickup.
Adam Hammis here. If you want to support me directly, go to teamdiscraft.com. I got hoodies, shirts, all kinds of cool discs on there. And check out everyone on Team Discraft. We've got the whole elite team. Every player has their own little merch site, so be sure to check that out. Thank you.
Welcome to Music City Disc Golf. We are a 501c3 nonprofit public charity here in Nashville, Tennessee. We strive on including men, women, juniors, and providing competition for all skill levels. We would like you to come be a part of Music City Disc Golf.
Here we are at hole 16, 305-foot par 3. Surprisingly, it is the hole that's playing easier than hole 11 on the course today. You do have about a 35-foot island, but the wind is pretty down, and it's mainly tailwind, so dial up your 280-foot distance and throw it at the basket.
Yeah, very much. You can throw the hyzer, you can go straight at it, and Nathan, we've been told there's a pretty good bounty if somebody manages to ace.
Indeed, the first person to ace this hole, I believe it was a custom Gibson.
That's what I heard. Very appropriate for a Music City Open, huh?
Yeah.
I can't play, so I don't know what I'd do if I do ace.
I'm sure there's plenty of people you could let borrow and enjoy their music, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or you could probably just sell it.
I think I want the memento. Hammis with the frustrating out of bounds, doesn't quite get it to the island.
Anthony trying to get that guitar, ends up spiking just in front of it.
And Nick sees that line, gonna follow it. It looks like pretty much exactly.
Ooh. And spiking just behind it.
Yikes.
Oh, and
that's the cost of attempting this drop zone putt.
Yeah, it's very fortunate for him to be in bounds and have a chance to still save the bogey, but does end up falling out. Gonna card the double here on what played as the easiest hole on the course today, as Austin Turner gonna move to 6 down on the round. Still clean, still being quiet.
I believe so,
being quiet about it. Besides that crazy hole 15, that wasn't very quiet.
Right. And Hanson going to take his time. Even though this is a 12-footer, it is pretty downhill. Like, his feet are level with the cage. Well done there.
Crazy stat. 81 players got the birdie on this hole today.
It's amazing how good the field is.
That's so good.
Hole 17, this is going to be a little more challenging, playing into a headwind with some right to left cross. If you go out of bounds, it's at the spot of the foul, so you could lay up short of the water or try to cross into a maybe 100-foot long green, but it's not very deep. Likely to see counterclockwise spin from all 4 players on the card here. Turner with the backhand luxury.
Does so nicely. Going to be inside the circle, 22 feet.
You see the power of Barela here. He's going to go with just a 9-speed rather than full distance driver.
I imagine not quite as wide as what we saw Austin throw.
No, definitely higher. I think this is going to be, yep, a little short of the basket, but well in.
Nick is going with that high speed and didn't quite hang that one out wide enough. Gonna end up, I think he crossed in bounds, it looked like.
Yeah, we'll have to see where that mark is. Spotters need to keep a good eye on shots like that. Hammis to the TI force. And I like this a lot, kind of trusting the left side out of bounds line.
Oh, this has got a lot of pickup on it. Wow. I wonder if the wind picked up right there. looked like it kind of pushed him backwards on that. I liked it out of his hand as well.
Wow.
Saves it.
Big time save. And if he's there, that implies that Nick is going to get a mark on the far side.
What a save after some putting woes on the last hole. Able to knock that out pretty quickly and get a nice par there. A nice height. Not quite the right line on that one though.
Yeah, having to take a knee to work his way underneath the cedars. Hard to like drive a putt into this heady cross.
Oh, and I was mistaken a moment ago. Hole 17, this hole did also average over par, so 2 holes on the back 9.
Yeah, you can. Oh, and Turner. Frustrated with the ground, frustrated with himself.
Yeah, that's the 3rd one, I think, that we've seen low this round. Could have been pushing that double-digit mark.
Yeah, and Paul Macbeth mentioned to me yesterday he thinks double is out there, and I believe somebody did approach that today.
Yeah, and getting into hole 18, 723-foot par 4. You've got to get to this flat spot here at least if you want any opportunity to get the birdie on this hole. But if you do get to that flat spot, you still have to avoid those 2 clusters of trees and bushes that you've got to have a straight look at it. These players have plenty of distance and should be able to push well past that if they get a good drive off.
Yeah, and left to right crosswind. A little bit of tail as well makes it ideal for a distance smash, especially for
oh my goodness,
an Anthony Barela.
That's better only by a few feet, but that looked to be a little bit farther than what we saw from Adam yesterday.
I think so.
Wow.
Like, there are good players in this field who get there in 2. Turner is the lefty. Disc should pick up once it gets back to Heiser, but I don't think it's going to here.
Oh, and so close to pushing through.
He may have a stance on the front side of the cedar. Amos likely to pull this over more right. Oh, and that will end up stalling out late. We'll see where it gets to.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, fine. Out near Barela.
Just throw over top of the trees 400 feet away, you know, why not?
Hanson. And this is more of what you expect for the mortal type power. It's a good shot onto that flat, as you noted, and centered up in the gap.
Yeah, he centered up this gap very well.
Unfortunately, he's going to center up a tree, too.
Yeah, didn't get the stand-up that he needed on that. Going to be out of birdie position now. And surprisingly, it looks like Austin has quite a bit of room to swing his arm. Not much foot movement.
And I've been in this cedar. He's not more than about 280 from the basket. So even with standstill, there's a chance to get up and down. He'll work his way near circle 2.
Yeah, pretty good shot from what he had, just a bit low.
What is this? What?
Why not, you know? Let me just play this 723-foot uphill hole to play about 900, throw over top of this second shot.
Right. You and I are thinking about gaps. Adam's thinking about this gap. He wasn't able to execute it yesterday with a Raptor. Today, able to go zone from a more left position, and well done.
You know, I do like the play from Anthony, though. You've got the left to right wind going on. Going over top like that is going to pack it straight down. Not going to have any carry to it.
Good approach by Hanson. He will drop in a 4 to finish. We're proud of him. Still under par. Still in decent position to push for a cashing spot. I'm not sure I appreciate the golf decision by Turner to try to go for that with the aggressive crosswind and elevated bucket, though.
Yeah, and you saw it quickly lift his putter.
Wow.
But able to connect on the comebacker. That's a nervy putt right there, but remains clean with that putt. 6 down on the round, second day in a row.
And great round from Barela. He will be in second place, all on his lonesome. And Hamas gets to 5 down for the round, 11 overall, tied for 8th place in the field.
Nick Hanson with a bit of struggle today, but good on him for making it into the qualifier and then on some film coverage. Not something you're going to see too often in a field of players this good.
Oh, definitely not. Anthony Barela going to be moving up to that lead card. We will see Austin Turner tomorrow on the Gatekeeper Media Chase Card coverage, along with Calvin Heimberg, Simon Lizotte, and the return of Ricky Wysocki in his first full Pro Tour event back.
What a card and what a opportunity to get a 3rd Chase Card win in a row. I'm excited to check it out.
That's what we're hoping for. Again, beautiful Mill Ridge Park. Should be sunny skies tomorrow. So Nathan Queen, I'm looking forward to it.
I am as well. And for Andrew Fish, we'll see you guys out there.